Mark Bowman, five-star tight end, number one tight end in America, commits to USC last week, and big get for USC. I mean, anytime you land the top player in his position, especially at a spot like tight end where you can be a mismatch, more on that later, it's a good thing, especially for a Lincoln Riley offense. But the buzz from...
Welcome to the Put On Waivers Media Group, home of the Put On Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of Student Body Rights USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, so check me out here. First and foremost, I want to shout out Bridge City Media. These aren't like your regular photographs, like, that we used to take when we stood up all like this and use sports. He has some great action photos. He does a great job. Covers all over Southern California. So you got LA in here. You got San Diego. You got the OC. So he covers all that stuff, and you can see on the screen now all the cool pictures that they take. So if you are a parent individually who want to have your pictures done with him, or a team, he'll take care of you there as well. That's Bridge City Media _ on Instagram, and then Bridge City MDA.com on the World Wide Web. So we have a guest today, LA Football Network, everything as far as like YouTube and writer, Ryan Dyrud. I know I got that right. I hit it. Good for me. I'm terrible with last names. Thank you for joining us here, talking some USC football. How you doing today?
What's up, Dwayne? No, great to be here. Thanks for reaching out, and always good connecting with more of the USC Trojans community. So happy to be here. No
problem. So let's start off with the most recent stuff. So this weekend, weekend of the 13th, what's going on at SC as far as recruits visiting campus? Who's going over there, and what can we expect as far as that goes?
Yeah, I mean, nine total recruits will be on campus. Only one non-commit, so the other 8 are already committed recruits, like Malik Brooks, like Usan Tafa. We could go on the list, but the one non-commit is Luke Waffle, as I'm sure you know.
Yep.
High priority edge recruit that USC is kind of honed in on. Both Coach Henney and Coach Nua have visited Waffle. He's an East Coast kid from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think they strategically did this, having 8 commits and 1 non-commit, because they can really hone in, show them the culture of what the class is already building. You have 8 guys already committed, trying to rile them up, like, hey, join the party here. We're doing big things. And it allows the coaching staff to really just focus in on Waffle as the lone non-commit to kind of, hype that up as well. So it should be a big weekend. Obviously, these official visits are always a lot of fun. A lot of stuff comes out of them. I'm sure you saw they're getting started down in like Palos Verdes at Terranea Resort, just a beautiful resort on the coast.
It's crazy.
How can you compete with that? What school can compete with Terranea Resort?
You can't. I mean, even the party they had the other day with everybody. I mean, Rob Ryan's outfit looked like he was an extra in Sinners. Out there with that outfit on, but it was really cool. I think it's fun to see USC kind of get back on that track going. So hopefully that continues. As far as that goes, and then for Waffle, you could just say, hey, you know what? I know this guy named Aaron Donald. Do you want to meet him? Like stuff like that. So
yeah, like we've seen with Jakeem Stewart working out with him all the time. So.
Seriously, it's funny. It's great to see. The 2026 class. It has been, it's something that, obviously, I mean, who knows? Maybe a couple kids here and there drop off, but like for the most part, I think the one thing I liked about Chad Bowden at Notre Dame was that they retained their retention is really, really good. Can you talk about like your impressions of that class and obviously USC fans are really excited about that?
Yeah, I think it's been extremely impressive. Obviously, 28 commits, number 1 class in the country. When you see all the blue chip, when you see over 65% now in-state kids in the class, and there'll be a few more, I think, before it's said and done. So really reinstigating that kind of Trojan wall in Los Angeles and California. But yeah, I think the big part is retention. We saw last year, unfortunately, some of the big name recruits decommit down the line, and there's a number of factors. We don't have to get into all that with NIL and just the structure of how things were done back just a year ago and how that's changed. But I think too, aside from the known fact that, that their new policy is once you commit, you shut down recruitment. I think that's big. Aside from some of the NIL stuff that has been really shored up, I think there's really just a belief with this class and wanting to be part of something special. We see guys like Brandon Lockhart and Sean Alston out of Ohio talk about all the time is kind of rebuilding that Trojan brand and being the class that can do that. And that's not to short sight the 25 class and the 24 class who are there right now. But I think there is a pride within this class already of like, hey, we're the group. There's going to be 30 to 35 of us to really bring this thing back. And so you have the guardrails of NIL and the shutting down recruitments, but I think it's more about the passion of being a Trojan and kind of building USC back to what it was in the day and believing even in a 7-6 season last year. And I know it's hard for USC fans to swallow and really anyone nationally that was a good year because it wasn't. It's not acceptable to finish 7-6. No. But I think when you really peel back the onion, you could see progress being made. Now this year is integral that progress turns into closing games and winning 9+ games, but you saw it start to form. And so I think that all of those factors have the excitement of this 26 class, have kids excited, have fan base excited. And I think, in my opinion, like you said, I wouldn't be shocked if, a handful, 1, 2, maybe 3 end up flipping here or there. But to me, I think 95% of this class holds true all the way to signing day.
Hey, don't forget, like Josh Pate says, when USC loses somebody, it's the end of the world. And then when we gain somebody, he's not really that good. Yeah. Which is hilarious when that.
Or in Oregon gains someone's, they gain a star all of a sudden somehow.
Dude, I can't. I can't. I mean, how was that? That is that's the funniest. We joke about that all the time as USC fans. He's a 3-star. Now he's a 4-star. He went to Oregon. We know how that goes. On the house settlement, people talking about whether it's good or bad for USC. Can you drop some jewels on that for us, because just so people can kind of get an idea of like what it means going forward for the Trojans?
Yeah. So what I still need to, these house bills and settlements are so much jargon and litigation, but from what I've been able to decipher and people I've talked to, I believe this is absolutely a good thing for USC. It's really a good thing for the bigger markets in general. Because it gives, USC as an entire athletic program about $20.5 million in revenue share that they're going to disperse across the athletic department. We don't know the exact number, but more than likely 13 to 15 million of that will be able to be allocated for football. And so right off the top, you're getting an extra 15 million or so in NIL funding that is direct, essentially pay for play from the school. And so when you figure a lot of these classes coming in, there's been reports that, these classes, not just USC, around the country, these classes are anywhere from 10 to 20 to $30 million just for the class. Well, now you kind of have revenue share that can almost cover that completely. And then you can use NIL third-party collectives to pay out your current class or, vice versa, do whatever you want. Now, the side of this that everyone's kind of confused about is, well, now there's this thought of you can't just use NIL funds to pay recruits and pay current players. There has to be kind of business allocation behind that, brand identity behind that. And there's the idea of this like market value. Well, there's a lot of programs out there that this will affect, because guess what? If you're in the middle of nowhere, middle of America, I don't want to say that disrespectfully, but if you're in like Topeka, Kansas, there's only so much kind of brand and business deals you can do within the realm of your market. LA, there's no shortage of brands and deals you can do. So, and the USC alumni is so big and powerful and strong. So that piece won't affect at all. Like all these deals can absolutely be behind the veil of a brand or a business deal. And this, Dwayne, I'm sure but in the years past leading up to the season, this is kind of what actually hurt USC recruiting, is that's how they were structuring deals. They were all brand deals. They required meet and greets. They required, volunteer hours. They required this, and recruits weren't getting that at other schools. So that's why they would end up decommitting or not committing, because they could go and just get a pay for play NIL deal. Whereas USC was requiring these things. Well, now that's the way it is. That's the way USC has been doing it anyway. And so I think benefit them. And then the last thing before I get too long winded, the market share, that's based on market value. And so in LA, with the power that LA is, market value in LA is going to be much stronger if Dulett is even going to actually be able to somehow subsidize and figure that what market value really is. But in LA, market value is going to be so much stronger than Eugene or Tuscaloosa or Ann Arbor or even Columbus, Ohio market value, just because of what is in LA and just how they define market value, like with any business economics were to do.
Yeah,
If that
so
makes sense.
it does make sense, and like I said, I think this is where like USC can kind of separate from everybody else. I mean, so and I think you're kind of seeing it right now as well, as far as that goes.
Well, and Dwayne, and not to cut you off, but
Yeah, go ahead.
when NIL, I don't know if you thought this, when NIL first became a thing, whatever it was, 5 years ago. And so the whole name, image, likeness, like the thought process, at least that I had, was like, all right, so this allows players to earn based on their name, based on like getting a Gatorade deal, getting a shoe deal.
100%.
So when it first came, I was like, USC is going to blow everything out of the water because of LA. Like you have every brand at your disposal to get revenue deals with. And so now it's kind of actually going back to what it was supposed to be at the forefront, instead of just boosters giving money and, giving packages of checks to players.
Yes. Which actually that never happened in the SEC ever.
Nope.
Chad Bowden comes in, and this is like, I don't know. I mean, this is a godsend, whatever you want to call it, like right now. But the guy he's talking the talk and walking the walk at the same time. What as just being around the program and stuff like that, like how has this been like? This has just been because he has people working under him who are former GMs. Like this is pretty impressive. The group he has going for him, and USC, like, just in this new era of like, any changes. I think the biggest thing for USC is like, as soon as something changes, like he's going to be on top of it, and USC can be ahead of the game instead of being like 2 or 3 years down behind the eight ball.
Yeah. I don't want to get misquoted or get ahead of myself, because obviously it's only been 6 months and we got to see like the play on the field and actually wins 100%. On the gridiron.
Good to that.
But based on this 6 months, Dwayne, I really believe this could end up being one of the most impactful and influential hires in college football that we've seen in the last 5 or so years. And that includes coaching hires, just because of the turnaround we've seen in such a short time. You mentioned the people under him who were GMs. Max Steinecker was a GM at Wisconsin, not crazy. At like some junior college.
It's nuts.
At a Big Ten power school in Wisconsin, came to be a director of player personnel. The other two, and Dre Brown and Zaire, I want to say Alexander, but no, I think I'm drawing a blank on her last name, but Zaire, are going to be GMs probably one day. And so just phenomenal talent. And, when I was at campus it was kind of like the coaches brunch, I'm sure you saw, what was it, a month or so ago? And I've been now on campus the last like 4 years covering the team, and it just feels different, honestly, in the John McKay Center. You can just feel like with the staff, like this kind of confidence, and also this strategy and direction, and kind of knowing exactly the process. And even when asking about like, hey, so who, like when you're going on these trips, they're like, oh, we got Max handles all that. Max does all the planning, all the strategy, all the travel. Whereas in the past, it was probably like a coach, like, all right, I got to like book my travel, figure this out, just because there wasn't enough bodies to do it. So Bowden, you said it. He's talking the talk, he's walking the walk, and it's one of the most impactful hires we've seen in quite some time. And
like let the coach just coach. Like let the coaches coach. And I feel like that's where they're headed. As far as that goes, like they don't have to worry about all these different little things. The staff can take care of all those I's and T's and stuff like that.